Well, we'll go ahead and get going. I'm Bill Hall, CEO of Dallas Area Habitat for Humanity, and I'm excited about today as I look across this room and see the different constituencies of the city of Dallas, and actually other cities are represented here also today. And it's really kind of fascinating to see how many people are interested in something that we wholeheartedly believe in at Dallas Habitat. So first I want to thank elected officials who are in attendance, Mayor Rawlings, Sheriff Valdez, I think was going to be here, but I don't think she's made it. And any other elected officials? All right, thank you very much. And then secondly, the Communities Foundation has been an amazing partner, and we want to thank them for hosting this for us. When you're trying to look for a space this large, it's not easy, and the Communities Foundation has been great in that way. Not only that, we were part of their data-driven decision-making, or D3 Institute this year, and it's really helped us change the way we think about the work that we're doing and focus on the metrics and the outcomes and measuring those metrics and outcomes in the work we do. And we want to take that beyond just our work, but to other work, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. And not only that, they're a great partner of ours in a new initiative and partnership called EPIC that I'll talk about here in a few minutes. So we want to thank Communities Foundation for hosting this event. And lastly, the University of North Texas, thank you very much for the researchers and their countless hours for being here and making this tool available to us. While we commissioned it, we really didn't have a lot of involvement in it at Dallas Habitat. They really went at it and created what I think is a great start that we need to continue to refine. And so we want to thank you for being here. And then all our panelists and everyone else that will be talking today, thank you for spending some time this morning to learn a little bit about what we might be able to do to tackle an issue that actually has great promise here, because we're just holding back, I think, potential investment by not taking care of some of these issues. And there's a lot of potential investment that could happen, not only in the city of Dallas, but other cities if we found a better way to deal with some of the blight issues. So to start off, about 18 months ago, our staff, Cindy, Jane, and Kristen, many of you might know them, came to me and said, hey, we want to do we want to commission some research on blight. And I probably had the same thought everyone else did when they first read the paper. And I said, well, why don't we just hop in the car? I can show you where the blight is. And why do we need to research it any further? But after 15 minutes, they explained, that's not what we want. We understand that blight costs the entire city. It doesn't just cost a neighborhood. It's not a neighborhood issue. It's a city issue. Not only that, we're holding back investment. And we need to be able to metrically measure our results. And we need to be able to have something that's repeatable. A lot of organizations do things one-off, and they're great, and they're pretty, and everything else. But at Habitat, we want something that can easily be repeated year after year at low cost. So at the end of the day, we commissioned UNT, and they came back with a tool that can make that happen, as long as we can get access to the data to support it. So I was fully on board, and we moved forward. And through the help of the city of Dallas, through the help of UNT, through the help of Dallas County, we were able to get some data to actually support the study, and we appreciate all your help and assistance in getting that done. And so we're here today to discuss these findings from the UNT study and a way to measure and track blight and do an initial assessment of the cost associated with the status quo of not doing anything about blight. And we know it is unusual for a nonprofit like Habitat to actually finance a study like this and not evaluate our own work, because our purpose of this is to actually create more investment beyond just Habitat's investment. Our goal is to create a way for the city of Dallas and other cities to create more investment in throughout the city in all its neighborhoods. So in order to truly engage and empower and transform the lives in neighborhoods, we also need to recognize the full extent of blight issue. And we need to work to reduce the risk of investment in these communities. And only through the reduction of blight can that happen. But let's be clear, Dallas is not alone. Every city across the nation is having these issues. But Dallas can be a forefront leader on trying to define how to attack these issues. Vacant and abandoned properties are just something that is plaguing the entire nation. We know there is not an easy solution. Let's be focused on that. And we know that there are not unlimited resources to deal with these issues. But we also know that doing the same thing over and over again will not lead to a different outcome. And we also know what's measured is done. So if we can find a way to measure our work and our progress, we know that this will be focused on. We all have to be willing to work together over the coming years to do some heavy lifting, develop practical means by which to turn these properties that drag down the surrounding community into productive properties. The researchers will explain the numbers here in a few minutes, but at Habitat, this is really about people. This is about people who make an investment of their hard-earned money into a property, only to see that investment deteriorate over time because of abandoned or irresponsible property owners that live down the street. And so one example of this is there are 5 properties in West Dallas that are all on one single lot, but multifamily properties. They're owned by somebody in California who basically owes $110,000 in taxes. And these 5 properties since 2005 have incurred 54 assaults and 2 murders, these single properties. So if you're living around those, your house value has gone down, so the city suffered that way. The police are tired of going to police these places. And the code enforcement is tired of going and presenting codes. So what are some of the things that we can do, and how do we take and deal with some of this in a structured way? But let's be clear about this. Owning a property is a combination of rights and responsibilities. We are not out to condemn or take away properties through this initiative. Let's be clear about that. But we are and should find ways to hold property owners accountable for the costs that are incurred to the city for their delinquency. And how do we do that? That's what this conversation is about. So in order to do so, though, we first need to have current, accurate, and complete data that is easily accessible and presented in a manner that can help inform responsible decision-making, not only by our city staff, but by citizens that live around these properties. By having transparent, clear data, citizens can take things in their own hands through organizations such as ACT, who takes and helps citizens realize how to deal with some of these issues. This is not a city-only problem. So this composite Blight Index tool was created by UNT, and it's a perfect start, but it is only a start. So let's not think this is a complete tool until we work on it over the next couple of years. It should also not be thought of as a condemnation of past efforts, but a guide for future resource allocation and a method to measure different approaches to solving problems and creating more opportunities for investment. I keep coming back to that because I think that's where the key part of this is. How do we create more opportunities for investment in our cities by removing the risk of that investment? So gathering and analyzing data is the first step, but data in itself has no value. A lot of data running around really isn't going to do much for us. So we need to use that data to decide what we're going to do next. And this is where our partnership with EPIC comes into play. Economics Partners Investing in Communities is a partnership between Dallas Habitat, Safer Dallas, the Grow South Initiative, and the Communities Foundation to figure out repeatable methods to invest in communities and take some of these communities back from absentee landowners and put them in the hands of people who want to be responsible homeowners. And EPIC is a perfect platform to actually have these conversations and move this discussion forward as we continue our conversation in the future. So today is just a first step in a long, hard journey. And it will be work that's worth doing. And it'll be work that will impact people's lives. And it'll be work that we will continue to do and continue to press forward to make sure it happens from our point of view. And so as we move forward with this work, we want to create healthy communities by utilizing this data to make efficient use of our limited collective resources. And so please join us as we continue to fight the blight here, and here in Dallas and other communities in Dallas County. So thank you all for being here. I want to introduce Mayor Mike Rawlings, who's going to have a couple things to say. And he's a great partner for the city and a great leader for the city, and we thank him for being a part of this.
Good. Thank you, Bill, and thank you, Habitat, for putting this conference together. Your whole team I appreciate the work that they've done. Jane and Cindy and Kristen Schultz, appreciate it, what you have done. Thank you for coming. Thank you for showing an interest in this. And I think we've kept momentum taking place, as I can see it across the room. I'm not sure you could pull this many people together to talk about Blight, 3 or 4 years ago. Things are starting to happen. I appreciate UNT for the research and the role that it plays. Thank you for the panelists. We've got a good group of panelists here. Todd Robertson from the Dallas Morning News has done a good job talking about this initiative over the years. Jimmy Martin, our Director of Code, I'll tell you, thank you. Where's Jimmy? Where's Jimmy? There he is. There's Jimmy. I mean, that is so critical. This is what he lives day in and day out. Gary Griffith, our former city councilman, has spent a lot of time and effort trying to make our city look good and build neighborhoods. Maureen Milligan, who is the interim chief of community prosecution, a big part of our city's strategy is community prosecution. Bill's already talked about some of the legal issues that we face. Ken Smith from Revitalize Dallas. Where's Ken? There he is. Good to see you, Ken, a neighborhood activist and trying to build a southern Dallas and South Dallas proper, really. And then my partner, Adam McGew, who is Chief of Strategic Initiatives for me and heading up our Grow South project, so we can get into a lot more detail. He's been doing it for about 3 months. Before that, he was in Maureen's job in community prosecution, so you'll have a good sense of that. But besides these people, I see private citizens all over this room that have reached out and said, I'm going to make a difference, whether it's a small gift or a lot of your time. I mean, Jennifer Gates was a private citizen, says, I'll give my time and run for city council. Let me tell you, that's an ultimate gift to do that. And so it's fabulous. And as I think about this issue that we're facing, we're private citizens and we're the public sector, and it's that partnership that's going to make this reality. We do it as private citizens for all unique reasons. A calling, a sense of responsibility, a sense of vision. There's a lot of reasons we do it from a private sector. In the public sector, it's been interesting because it's just the right thing to do and you just keep doing it. And for the last couple of years, I've been trying to frame what the role of government is in this activity and in other activities, whether it's how to deal with our taxi cabs and Uber or whatever it is, all right? How do I screen that? And for me, I've discovered that I've got to look at it this way, that it is our responsibility in the city of Dallas, the state of Texas, and the United States of America to provide an opportunity for all for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. What does that mean? An opportunity. That doesn't mean it's my job to make people happy, okay? Or if when people die that it's my fault. I want to give them an opportunity for that, for them to make the right decisions, to take personal accountability and make it happen. But it needs to be an opportunity for all. It shouldn't just be an opportunity for some. And for life and liberty. And when I think of where some people live, in the neighborhoods, they're just not very safe. They don't have an opportunity to live healthy lives. So we fail there. Liberty, freedom of choice. You don't even know the freedoms you have until you get educated. And if you're not well educated, you don't even know that you're free to go to Costa Rica and go zip lining or whatever these are just opportunities that you learn about. And so it's our job to give them the opportunity for that freedom And lastly, the pursuit of happiness. The chance to meet some dreams, the chance to have the income for your family. And we've got to make sure that we provide avenues that people, if they work hard and they take the choice, and they do that. I love this notion of blight because it's very simple. It kind of knocks you in the nose. And let me tell you, there is a direct inverse correlation between where blight is and the opportunity for someone for life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. It just is. And so we say, okay, we deal with this issue, then we in our city can feel better about what we're doing. To do it, I think you're approaching this the right way. First of all, we have to have a clear measurement system. The notion of a blight index is a good one to start in. We need to analyze the cost of blight to our city. Just one that we talked about Tuesday, if I remember my numbers right, we spend over $2 million of taxpayers' money mowing lawns in blighted areas. Is that right, Joey? Okay? Because we're trying to keep this thing clean. Now, there's got to be a better way than us sending lawnmowers out to people's lawns and mowing things. And now we get into the whole legal stuff, and that's what you're going to be talking about here. But that's just one example of the cost. And then we need to start pulling approaches together. We need to understand best practices, and we want at the city to be leaders. I know that right now we're talking about how do we break down our barriers, our silos of the city, and put teams against these efforts to make us more effective. That's what we want to do, but we're here to learn as you see in this room as well. You're going to hear some of those plans on the panel today. One of the things that I tried to do is put together this plan called Grow South. I'm pleased that the momentum's happening. There's so many positive things that are happening in southern Dallas. But it's a very interesting thing, and this is why you've made me better, Bill, in this effort, because I had a strategic entry point into Grow South with one belief structure, and I believe this is a correct belief structure, is that southern Dallas is an investment opportunity, not a charity case. Now that does two things. One, we need capital coming into southern Dallas to make things happen. And second, we get out of what I call this plantation mentality that good white folk from this side of the river are going to figure out what's right for the other folks, the minorities in our community. That's not what we need. We need an economic answer to this, and that's why we've focused on big opportunities. West Dallas, right across the Margaret Hunt Hill Bridge, Jefferson Boulevard, Lancaster, where the VA hospital is, Southeast Dallas, where UNT is happening. You know, these places are taking off, and we want to put the gasoline on these fires to kind of create the brush fire of economic benefits, and they grow. And I love that. And I'm preaching it, and I'm not going to get off of it. But, you know what I've done? I consciously said, I'm not going to deal with Ken, South Dallas proper. You know, what are we going to do in Joppy? You know? Those are tougher issues to face. And so what you've said is we've got to deal with those issues as well, and I think you're right. And that's what today is about. So you're going to hear from Adam from our office about one strategy that we're building, and that is to start focusing on our schools in our most blighted areas. Why? Well, first of all, that is the epicenter for the opportunity for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Second, it's our most vulnerable citizens, our young people. And third, if we can't make those safe and productive areas, we're never going to go to the really tough areas. Should be a beachhead for us. So in South Dallas proper, we've put our stake in the ground where Billy Dade Middle School has just opened up. Beautiful, beautiful school. And that block, that intersection. Where Lincoln High School is, one of the toughest intersections right there. Walked it the other day, where they're boarded up and glass is broken because of gunshot wounds. And these are high school kids less than 100 yards away. And we expect them to do good in school, okay? And then Madison, right there, front and center, Martin Luther King Boulevard, a great building, a great, the great James Madison High School. And so that's one of the things we're going to do to put into this Blight effort, to make sure how we as a city staff and city leaders can rally around those schools to make them clean. Now, as I look forward, the great news is Dallas has a good track record facing tough issues, focusing our efforts, and accomplishing our objectives. We've got money, we've got smarts, and we've got willpower. So we should be able to accomplish this. But it does take a cross organizational effort. And we all have known, we've all done enough reading about collective impact and what's happening, and this is the best practice there. So you have my support in doing this, because the key is to figure out how we get all the light in this city, and there's a lot of light, and it's bright light, focused on the blight. How do we take that magnifying glass and channel that against those toughest areas? You're going to do that work today, and plans will come out and we'll be better for it. But the first thing I think we have to do systemically throughout our city is believe in the old little Sunday school song that we all sang if we went to Sunday school about this little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. And if we do that, take it under a bushel, keep it under a bushel, no, I'm going to let it shine. If we do that and we keep pushing and we talk about this at dinners and our family's family lunch table and our friends and our neighbors, this city starts to come together, and we take that light that we can let shine, put it on these blighted areas, and power through these tough issues, whether they're legal, financial, family issues, education issues. And I just want to thank you all for caring enough to do that. Thank you very much.